Hello, this is Black Business Orlando Spotlight. I am Cheyenne McGregor, Communication Specialist for Black Business Orlando and owner of The Nonprofits, a nonprofit consulting agency. To my right is the president of Black Business Orlando.
Hello, everybody.
You want to introduce yourself?
No. I'm Patrona Ramsey. I am the president of Black Business Orlando. I don't have much to say after that.
She is our awesome Madam President. But today it's all about the man to my left, Mr. Russell Drake. He has been working on a very special project here in the Orlando area, and we are going to get to know all about that shortly. But first, let's get to know you a little bit better. So you're originally from Gary, Indiana.
Yes.
And you're a Howard man.
Oh, yes.
So what brought you to Orlando?
First, let me give glory and honor to God, from whom all blessings flow. And let me thank Black Business Orlando for the hard work they do to unite the community and make sure that Black businesses have a sounding board, not just where they can be featured, not just where they can be found, but putting together something where they could grow. Black Business Orlando is an incubator for so many folks at different levels.
Absolutely.
In the realm of business and realm of aspiring entrepreneurs, as well as those that just want to support a Black business.
Yes.
So I think you do great things.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I just want to shout out to Jazz for, she's the founder of BBO and just doing so much work in the community. Right?
Absolutely.
Doing so much work in the community. And so, shout out to you, Jazz. Thanks for all that you do. And I'm going to throw it back on you, Mr. Drake, because we've heard so much about what you have been doing and the inspiring work that you have going on. So thank you for being here.
I'm honored.
Originally, you were from Gary, but you moved down here. What brought you to the area?
I came down here. I got a job with Lockheed Martin Corporation. I actually interned 2 summers in a row, then came on full time and had the honor of working with your founder, Jazzy Renee Washington. So I initially met her at work, and shortly after that, she started the Black Business Orlando.
Right.
She was doing her fitness classes.
Still is.
So, continue to grow, and, I've just seen her continue to matriculate. So she's doing great work. Again, you all are doing great work.
Thank you. Now, Gary, Indiana is a very prominent Black community. When you came to Orlando, did you see a noticeable presence of Black-owned businesses?
When I initially came here, I first landed down here in 2001.
Okay.
That's my first time coming here. I was intern and I was staying on the east side of town at UCF, and UCF wasn't what it is right now.
Okay.
So it took me a while to even find a Black community, to find a barbershop. So I remember this was pre-social media.
Yes.
Right.
Trying to catch the bus, things like that. It was a tough task.
No Uber, just in the sun.
Yeah. So to be honest, I wasn't paying attention to the amount, the quantity, nor the lack thereof in different things. I knew on that east side there were few Black businesses, and there was no immediate way to get in contact.
And so your background, like you said, is in systems engineering. But what you've been working on lately is way outside of that. So, and by the way, if you guys haven't already seen Russell's Facebook posts, they are incredible. They really are well-written reviews or magazine-type articles, almost the way they're written. They spell out what these Black-owned businesses that he has been learning about do.
Thank you.
But you've been doing this for a while now. Tell us, how did you even get started with this project and what exactly it is you're doing?
So, every year during Black History Month, for almost 16 years, I've done a Black History Fact of the Day, right? Every day of the month. I'm known for it, and just continually have made sure to educate people about the contributions and efforts that many Blacks have made over the course of the United States of America. And then as we hit 2020, I realized we're a fifth of the way through the century. It's a new decade. It's time for an upgrade. So I challenged myself for an upgrade in not just posting facts, because I did that too, but I wanted to do something different and support a Black business every day. So I called it BHM Upgrade. It stands for Black History Month Upgrade.
And so now you're doing this up to a few times a week, even sometimes, or how often are you doing it?
To date, 118 consecutive days.
Nice.
And so what that equates to, by Sunday, that will be 4 complete months of featuring Black businesses.
And you're not getting paid for this?
I'm not getting paid financially for this.
No.
Somebody did ask me, what about, you can't just keep giving. What is your reward? And the fruits of my labor are seeing people understand that we are more than just spenders outside of our community.
Right.
And we can grow our communities and build Black power with our own dollar.
Right.
We have a Blacks spend approximately $1.5 trillion a year.
Wow.
And less than 2% of that in our own communities.
Right.
We can put that in our community. At minimum, we can give options. All people want is an opportunity. We have people around to do everything who are great photographers, great videographers, consultants, help people with businesses.
Yep.
We have great lawyers. Black lawyers matter.
Yes.
We have great accountants. We have medical professionals, eye doctors, dentists, primary care physicians. People want you to give them a chance, even if you don't want to just give them their business because they're Black.
Right.
I get that. You want to make sure somebody's of quality. Right. Well, then you come in and check them out. You go to a place like Windstyle Boutique in Apopka, Florida, and you see some of the nicest clothes in there, and you can order them online. And you say, wow, I didn't know about this place. Apopka has the only 2 grocery stores in Orange County that are Black owned.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Right, P&W Market and Griffin's General Store. One's been there for about 2 years, the other one for about 4 years.
Wow. For me, the focus should always be our survival.
Right.
So when we talk about how are you being compensated,
Right.
I am helping us survive.
Yeah.
And financial literacy is important, and we can't have that if we don't have any finances, if we don't support ourselves with our dollars.
Right.
It is very important to talk to someone like you who has been out there talking to all of these different businesses, really getting into the field. Not something that's virtually done, not something that's done over the telephone, but you've been actually walking the streets and shaking hands with these people. You know what they've been going through. You know COVID-19 is a thing, especially how that has infected the Black community and Black businesses. So I want you to expound on that. Like, what are some of your experiences that you have experienced with some of these businesses in terms of how they've been able to stay afloat during COVID? And what's the general consensus out there? How are people feeling? How are businesses doing right now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. There's a place called Siana's Caribbean Cuisine in Ocoee.
Yeah.
They opened this year. When COVID hit, they had to cancel about 20 events.
Yeah.
We were one of them.
Yeah, of course you were. And so many other places. So that drastically impacted them.
Yeah.
Had to lay off people because of social distancing guidelines. They have only so many people working. And it affected their bottom line. It hurt the people who are fairly new and didn't have as well of a relationship with the community and as many patrons.
Yeah.
So it hurt them. Now you take the first business I featured was called Island Time, THYME, in Avalon Park. They've been around for maybe about 4 years. They've always supported you in taking things to go. So through COVID, they'll tell you they did better. They didn't have to clean up. Nobody could sit in there.
Right.
They got only to-go dishes.
Right.
They were doing good. The food trucks did good.
Really?
Food trucks were a lot of people's options. Many of our Black restaurants and or food trucks, they're always available for you to take stuff to go. Now you can eat the food wherever, but they've always been set up for that.
Right.
Other big establishments, some of the ones that may be all the way out on Sand Lake, where Patrona likes to go do her fine dining. Oh, yes.
But you know what? And it's interesting that you say that, because as someone who likes to do events, as someone who likes to connect with people, we seek out venues that are restaurants that also have a sit-down style option, you know? And so Sienna's is one of those places. We've done many interviews there. We were planning on doing more, but shout out to you, Sienna. And places even like this one where you can come in and actually sit down and have an event and not have to go option. And it's amazing that they did well, but you know, that culture that you're trying to really cater to, that sit down, that let's network,
right.
It's a shame that those businesses are affected most because they are needed the most. We need a place where we can conjugate and be us. Like, I don't want to be anybody else but me.
Everyone's having to adjust. Have any of the owners said that they've pursued any of the SBA loans or used that option to stay afloat?
I think all of them have tried to look at SBA loans. Some have received them, some have not. Some didn't know, some didn't know. Initially, the process changed.
Okay.
Let's say that the process changed. As it's kind of mellowed out, people are still striving to get those loans.
Yeah.
Some people need them desperately. People have different overheads. And, while they're the business owner, that's not always the case. That means they own a facility that they're physically in.
Right.
Many businesses I've seen they're hanging tough.
Yeah.
And so I started this journey pre-COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I started pre-COVID, and it's interesting. There were 29 days in Black History Month this year. And as I was getting closer, maybe around day 21, I was hitting a stride. More people were saying, hey, feature this. And as I was writing down, I'm like, I need to keep going a whole nother month. And I remember I put a poll up and said, should I keep going? And, people were like, yeah. So I was like, all right. And an older guy came to me and said, the NBA Hall of Famer, the late Wilt Chamberlain, scored 100 points in a game, right? But he scored 60 and 50 points in a game, over 70 times. He told me nobody remembers when Wilt Chamberlain scored 60 points.
Right.
And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you got to hit 100 for it to really count. And I was like,
wow.
100?
Right.
And I was like, oh boy.
The work is needed though. I hopefully, this platform makes your job easier, but the work is needed. And I'm really interested to know, what have you learned about Black businesses in Orlando?
I think what surprised me the most is that every owner has a similar story, a almost didn't make it moment that you could break down and shed tears talking with them over.
Yeah.
And all of them are connected. You could work in management or leadership, but that owner knows the hunger pains of owning a business.
Yeah.
That owner, knows what it takes. That owner knows I'm the janitor. I'm the person who's got to open up. I'm the person who's got to lock up. That owner does whatever she or he has to do. And not only do they have a story, but their workers may not even know.
Right.
That at the end of the day, they're going to keep the lights on in there. They're going to make sure that their staff gets paid before they get paid or bring anything home.
It's all on them.
It is. And I see it. And when I talk with them, what I love is that many of the owners have connected on their own accord, looking at other businesses a feature. It kind of becomes like a fetish. Like, well, who's he featuring today? Oh man, let me try to build with them.
Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful thing happened. The owner of Brick and Spoon Orlando in Maitland, very good breakfast, brunch, and lunch space that you all should patronize sometime. Great food. They told me the owner of Something Fishy in Apopka came by. And the owner called me. He was like, that was so great. Because the owner of Brick and Spoon Orlando is from Mobile, Alabama. He doesn't know that many people here.
Okay.
So he loves to meet people or talk with people. And so what's happened is I've leveraged my network that I've had that equates to maybe a little over 10,000 people. And so it just keeps getting out, and you'd be surprised how many people are paying attention. People pay attention to what's hot. There are other things right now in the civic community that are hot, and as they should be, but people are still paying attention and say, what business is that? Let me look at that.
You know what? I think people are attracted to movement.
Yeah.
And consistency. So when something is happening and it's happening consistently, that's something to look at.
Absolutely.
And that's definitely something that you've demonstrated.
Well, thank you.
And I think it's incredible. And it's a great start. It's a great start to, hey, let's not just let you do this by your own, by yourself, but how can we add to that so that we're actually building community within our groups.
I think you're right. I mean, I get, believe it or not, through Black Business Orlando, I find different businesses here and there. I find YNS Chateau, and I'm like, wow, this is a nice place.
Which we're at today, by the way.
I find prestigious mobile car wash and detail.
Yes.
A young man named Prince who started it at the beginning of April because the pandemic phased out his job. So he started. He started and he's doing really good. I featured him last week. And he detailed my car. Cleanest it's ever been. Car is so clean, I had to take it to the shop to get other stuff fixed. It's like, car's so clean, I have to keep it now. Rather than clean it out, I was like, it's smelling new. All right, man, I've been neglecting you. Yeah. So I think it's wonderful. Black Business Orlando has been good. The Chamber of Commerce has been good. They've offered resources and pointed me in different directions.
Awesome.
I love what both of you all are doing. The Urban League has even referred me to different places because they see that this is bigger than, it's bigger than me. Absolutely. It's like I don't get paid for this. It's just
we don't get paid.
But it's like it's a labor of love and passion.
Yeah.
I was at a place earlier that I'll be featured. It's a cleaners. And I've not featured one Black-owned cleaners yet.
Right.
So I went to a place and I was talking with the owner, and she said, nobody's ever come in here. And she doesn't have a lot on social media or website. But I said, I'm going to give you a highlight, and people will find you, and hopefully you'll get there.
Yeah.
Right. But I didn't know about her until the barbecue place 2 doors down told me about her.
Right.
So it takes each one to reach one and teach one.
Right. Yeah. I think what you said something that was so important was, she's standing there as a brick and mortar. And we live in such a social media world where we forget that, there are businesses that exist outside of social media. And yes, social media is important, but going out and meeting your neighbors are more important. Going out and having that physical touch.
Especially now.
Yeah, and that, you might not be able to do that now. So, but,
But go on his Facebook, look at them now. So when it's time, you can visit those places.
But now you gave her a platform.
Yeah.
You gave her a spot. Yeah. You gave her an opportunity that she might not have had because she doesn't have the resources or not really understanding the power of what social media does for your business. And there are so many Black businesses in Orlando that are not on social media. We still need to patronize them. We still need to know who they are. We still need to shake hands with them. We still need to support them. And not only so that they can get our Black dollars, but that they can get other dollars as well.
They deserve.
Exactly. And I think for me, I just want to edify my people. I want to put us on a platform to where we support each other to give us the leverage to get support from other places. Because I don't know how much of the population we make up in Florida, but as far as the United States, we are 12%, right? And 12%, that's a lot of people, but everybody else is a larger percent. So we want our dollars because it's a lot more money, and people always tell you the amount of money Black people spend. But I am sure that the money that Black people spend is not nearly as much money as white people spend, Spanish people spend, Asian people spend. If they can come into our communities and have our dollars and we shop with them, we can get us in a place where they will shop with us and they can shop with us. And what does that look like for our businesses? So bridging those gaps are just as important.
I hope that one day we're not just seen as Black-owned businesses and just put into that particular category like a Black movie.
Yeah.
That we are a business that has the same quality of product or service as any other business. and we can get dollars from every community, and of course continue to circulate it back into our community more so than not, which is the difficulty. But through what BBO does and what you're doing, I hope it not only creates a network for more patrons to know about these businesses, but also network amongst business owners.
Yes.
That we are not just seen as competition, but as a network to be stronger and better. And like you said, like create awareness about each other. Because someone could be in business for 4 years and can give opportunity to someone who's in business for 4 months.
I love that. Yes.
That's it right there. It's people have it confused. They think, we're competing, we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know what? There's no other example to show that we can all be in the same industry. Everybody's in sales at the end of the day, first and foremost. And you can all be in sales, but we can all be millionaires. Look no further than the nail salons.
Oh, shit.
Nail salons in the Asian community, there is no problem. And you got as many. You can go to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the middle. You probably
got 5 on the block. They still be patronized.
You arguably got over 2,000 nail salons that are run by Vietnamese or Chinese heritage, and they're doing well. And they say, best of luck, good luck. You do what you do.
They found a way to systematize bringing in money to their community. They have the manufacturing companies. They have the wholesale companies. So the same businesses that they're purchasing from, which we can't touch. So shout out to some of the nail techs, because a lot of people don't know this, and I know it's a little off topic, but a lot of people don't know this in terms of what it takes to do something like that. So if I own the cow on the farm and you're trying to come and buy milk, I can
Charge you whatever.
And you need the milk. No matter how much I charge for it, you need it. But if someone else tried to do that, you're paying twice as much for the supplies, twice as much for the product. So we haven't found a way to get into an industry that we can systematize. And I feel like one of the industries that we should be able to do that with is our hair care, because
we dominate.
and we can. And
we definitely can.
And you're right. It has, and I think if I'm hearing what you're saying that we need to put pettiness aside to achieve a higher purpose.
Pretty much.
And if we can do that, put it down. It's like, put that down. Oh, but I don't like, put it down. But she's doing, put it down. But I won't put it down. But I put it down.
Well, and
it's about,
ego.
It's really about how do we get here? How do we get here?
Yes.
My goal for tomorrow is like, can I get to 6 more businesses so that I can, feature? So I could maybe rest on Sunday, but then Monday figure out some more businesses. Can I send some more people to this business on the east side that says, I just need 10 more patrons a day to help me out so I won't have to lay people off. It's like everybody plays their part at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And we're all raising the bar. And I think it's like it's raised the bar. So many people get caught up saying, this is a pie. I got this piece of the pie and I hold it on, and I got to hold on to this piece of the pie. And what many people don't realize is you can build more pies. I didn't know it, but I was carving my own piece out.
Of course.
But then in carving it out, not limited to a pie. The pie, see, you can grab the pie, you can eat it, throw it on the floor, but it's like we're into brewing cakes now.
Yeah.
And if you're brewing a cake, every round goes higher and higher and higher. That cake goes round and round and round. And while most people can make as high as a 5-tier cake, you can make higher than that. Yeah. So it's like at the moment I'm trying to make a 200-tier cake of businesses. See, I didn't think I could get to 29, to be honest. I didn't know if I could, but I know this. If I didn't try, I wouldn't get to 1 or 2. Right. So it's like,
absolutely,
let's try it.
And what I love about your story, and just hearing you speak, is that, when you started, you wasn't focused on what somebody else was doing or who was doing. You said, this is what I'm going to do. And you went out and did it. And where we are a resource for you, now you become a resource for us. You know what I mean?
How can we all do better to help these Black-owned businesses from what you've learned?
Everybody go to their own network and break the stigma that Black businesses are lazy or don't have a good product. Or I saw somebody with a post the other day saying black businesses charge more, and I was like, that's not true. I was like, I've went to over 100 black businesses. I'm telling you right now, you don't get charged more. And I'm like, breaking these stigmas, and I'm just sharing the information. I have some faithful folks that share every post.
Wow.
And I so appreciate it. You know, they do it all the times. I have one good friend named LaDanya, one good friend named Anthony, and one good friend named Joanne. They continually just share it. And their thing is that, you know, if you're making this effort, the least I can do is hit this share button.
Yeah.
And so many times, even friends of ours who are, you know, you got your own business, what you realize is friends and family don't even support you that way. You know, it's like I own a bakery. You going to get the cake from
stop you, Russell. I gotta stop you because I feel like that right there is a stigma. Hold on a minute. You don't build a business for your family and friends to support you. You build a business to fulfill a need. And I only wanted to cut you because we talked about stopping the certain stigmas of what it means to be supportive, what it means to patron a black-owned business, what it means to support each other. You know what I mean? What does that look like? And yes, it does not necessarily mean that you have to spend money.
Right. You're right. That's why. So in the whole thing, my thing was supporting the business, but advertisement supporting. Even with friends and family, hit the share button for that. And there's some folks that will never hit the share button. And it's like, that's free.
Social media is not easy, and some people are just straight up insecure. And I know that sounds crazy, but you're so worried about what other people are going to think about the thing that you shared that it prevents you from sharing. It's a thing.
It also goes back to exactly what you said about consistency and just keep putting the message out there, and the right people will receive it and continue to perpetuate it. Like, hopefully we are here today. Can you just share with us how people could view your posts and follow you and put the word out there like we're describing?
Yes, absolutely. My social media handle is my name. It's just Russell Drake. At Russell Drake on Instagram. At Russell, RussellDrake on Instagram and Twitter. On Facebook, it's Russell Drake. Okay. I'm the ruggedly handsome man with the beard and went to Howard University. The hashtag is BHM Upgrade. And you search it, you'll see all these businesses come up. And I think on Instagram, there's a way to sort them by the most recent.
Okay.
And you can see, I think you can see up to, I don't know, maybe up to 100 of them right now. I don't know. I got to do things in my time because I don't know. I never know with social media when they decide, let's cut this brother. He's out here trying to build black power. And, I'm also a community advocate. Work with the Democratic Black Caucus. I'm actually the state vice president of it. And what I realized is even in politics, we got it twisted. We try to get political power, but don't have the economic power. So if we're going to build black power, it has to start economically. It's unfortunate. I look, for hundreds of years, we've had the wrong thought. Economics is the key. So as we sit here in the 100th, in the 10th decade of Negro history, we got to get it right. So economics is at the forefront. So I'm grateful for what you all are doing, grateful for what other groups are doing, and it takes all of us at the end of the day.
Yes. Of course, everyone in their personal circles always ask, what can I do? My personal belief is we all have a certain level of influence in our lives. Do what you are best at and put your focus in that direction to help your people. And to go back to what you were saying about other communities of color, another way of saying that is they prioritize themselves.
Yeah.
And I wish that we could learn to be okay with doing the same for ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like one of the things that we have to get over is we are not like any other people. Yeah. Our history is different from any other people. So when people are talking about what Asian people do, Indian people do, white people do, their history is not ours.
Yeah.
So that rebuilding is, you know what? We don't have that same level of, it's not as easy, but we are in an amazing time right now where we want to be together.
And I agree. We definitely aren't starting from the same background, history, or starting point by no means, but we can aspire to have the same trajectory.
Yeah.
And in our own way.
Yeah.
And create a new history for ourselves, hopefully. I thank you so much, Russell, for being here with us today. Once again, we're at YNS Chateau.
YNS Chateau.
Beautiful, beautiful event venue for many different events. And we also have
I Am Media. Shout out.
I Am Media, who is doing all of the recording today and beautiful lighting setup. But
I just want to thank Cheyenne for facilitating this meeting. Thank you, Russell Drake, for your time and everything that you're doing for the community. We can find us on Facebook. That's where our biggest platform is Black Business Orlando. It's a group page. And we also have a like page. So go ahead and like that page. This video is being sponsored by I Am Media. So you can find them on Facebook. Phenomenal work. Shout out and thank you for that. And, you know, I appreciate all of us for being there. And thank you guys for watching and listening.
See you next time in the next BBO Spotlight.